At one point during the debate, Bernie Sanders, without waiting to get attacked first, decided to throw some punches at Pete Buttigieg, and it was on the topic of money in politics. Take a look.
Well, you know, it's a funny thing. There are millions of people who can desire to run for office. But I guess if you're worth $60 billion and you could spend several $100 million on commercials, you have a slight advantage. That is nonsense. What we have got to do is have a nation in which we not only overturn Citizens United, we move to public funding of elections. In terms of money in politics, all right? Our campaign, and I am enormously proud of this, unlike some of the folks up here, I don't have 40 billionaires, Pete, contributing to my campaign, coming from the pharmaceutical industry, coming from Wall Street and all the big money interests. What we do have is we have now over 6 million contributions from 1.5 million people, averaging $18.50 a contribution. That is unprecedented in the history of American politics. If we want to change America, you're not going to do it by electing candidates who are going out to rich people's homes begging for money. The way we're going to do it is build a mass movement of working people who are prepared to stand up, not take money from these billionaires, not take money from Wall Street, but stand up to the drug companies and Wall Street. And if you want to be part of that political revolution, BernieSanders.com.
That was excellent. That was excellent. He named names. He didn't play this game where he, will imply that someone on that stage is doing something that people should be concerned about. He mentioned Pete. He was pointing at Pete while he was talking about his 40 billionaires.
Make sure that people knew.
Yes, and Pete Buttigieg looked like a little boy with his hand up because he knows he's guilty. And so we're gonna show you his lame response in just a moment, but I thought that was an incredibly strong moment because Bernie has the facts on his side, so why not use them?
So he started with some people on this stage, and he's like, "You, Pete, you, 40 billionaires, it's you."
Just to be clear.
And Buttigieg had his hand up to respond, but what it looked like on camera was like, "Yep, that's me. Yep, I'm the one that took the 40 billionaires."
I ordered the beating.
Yes. So we had hashtag Wine Cave Pete. Now we have hashtag 40 billionaires Pete.
Yes.
So these debates are not doing Pete any favors, if you ask us, but of course, all over cable news right now, I guarantee you they're declaring him the victor.
10 best Pete lines by Chris Cillizza coming out any minute. But yeah, I thought that was the best moment. I think that moment was Bernie Sanders' pitch, effectively. And his response, does it involve the reject thing? Because I don't want to preempt your video.
You know what? Why don't we go ahead and look at what Pete Buttigieg had to say in response? He seemed very eager, so he must have a good response or defense, right? No, take a look.
We are going into the fight of our lives. Donald Trump, according to news reports, and his allies raised $25 million today. We need to go into that fight with everything that we've got. Now, I've been very clear on both my record, where I have sued pharmaceutical companies, and what I'm campaigning for, that includes raising wages and raising taxes on corporations and the wealthy. And as the only person on this stage who is not a millionaire or a billionaire, I know a thing or two about building a movement, because mayor of South Bend, Indiana is not exactly an establishment fundraising powerhouse. We are here without the involvement of any corporate PACs, because hundreds of thousands of people went to PeteForAmerica.com, contributed to this campaign. And let me say something else. If we want to bring about any of the changes that everyone is talking about so elegantly up here, we need to put together the majority that can decisively defeat Donald Trump. And in order to do that, we need a politics that is defined not by who we reject, but but how we bring everybody into the fold. And if you are low income or if you're able to contribute a lot, if you've always voted Democrat or if you're an independent or even a Republican who's just sick of looking your kids in the eye and trying to explain this White House, we need you to join us right now. I will not pursue politics by telling people they can't be at our side if they're not with us 100% of the time. This is a time for addition, not rejection, for belonging, not exclusion.
That answer is so ridiculous. I don't want to reject or exclude the poor billionaires that Bernie Sanders is rejecting.
They're not with us 100%.
Because if we had 40 more votes, that's how we would win. It ain't about the votes, Pete. It's about the money.
So yeah, I'm glad that was the response because I think, look, it's hard to say that he was being honest because he was trying to speak circles around you, so you didn't know what he meant. But we know what he meant, and he was being honest. He's not going to reject any of those people if they're not with us 100%. You know, like why would you want someone to be 100% with you on things like, the future of our civilization and things like that? Why would you care about that? But that was Bernie's philosophy and it was Pete's philosophy, and Pete could not be more wrong. It is 100% about who you reject. We agree on tons of easy stuff. It's the easiest thing in the world in the Democratic Party is to say what we agree on. But I want to know who you disagree with. I want to know who you're going to fight against and who you're going to fight for. And if you're not going to fight against certain people, then you're not fighting for certain people. If you think that we can do healthcare reform with like the insurance company CEOs as like our buddies, like they're going to do it with us, no, you're wrong and you're not going to do it. If you think that like the fossil fuel companies are our allies in dealing with the climate crisis, then you don't give a damn about the climate crisis. It is 100% about who you're going to go against because we're talking about like industries need to be shut down for us to deal with some of these problems. I have no interest in these insurance companies existing. I don't care if an oil company exists in 10 years. And if you do care about that, if you think that there's inherent value in those industries, then you are placing them above the people that have been victimized by the status quo. So the dichotomy between the two front runners right now could not be any more stark. And so I appreciate both of them for being so honest.
Nothing has clarified the political landscape in the United States in a very, very long time, like Bernie's years-long sustained attack on the billionaire class. I mean, just today I saw a bunch of clips going around Twitter of like MSNBC panels, right? Nominally the left of center network, cable news network.
That's funny, yeah.
Like horrified at these attacks on billionaires, defending them, like, oh, I mean, these poor billionaires, and the voters, they don't like that. They're, because they're aspirational and they want to believe that one day they can be billionaires. That's not true. Voters hate billionaires. Italian billionaires are like the most popular thing in the world. The problem is Democrats never did it because they were all in the pocket of billionaires and they were terrified of doing it. And Bernie doing that for the last 4 years on a national stage has scrambled the political landscape in such a way that is going to have profound effects in the years to come. And it really is remarkable to see how people react. It's like a hugely clarifying moment because it really delineates the teams. Who are you with and who are you against?
I want to note though that the whole debacle that went down in Iowa and the way that the media rallied in support of Pete Buttigieg, the way that they framed it as Buttigieg being this strong candidate and the firm winner of this completely bungled Iowa caucus race. It really did help Buttigieg in the polls. So there's a new poll out now. CBS News is reporting it. It's done by Boston Globe and Suffolk University. And they found that now it's a tight race in New Hampshire between Buttigieg and Bernie Sanders. And this is what media propaganda does, right? Here we have a candidate, Pete Buttigieg, who literally stands for nothing, has nothing of substance to ever say. I mean, it's laughable, the types of nonsense you hear from Pete Buttigieg. Just look at his Twitter account and the stuff that he quotes himself on his own Twitter account. And there isn't a single quote there where he says something interesting or something that is of substance. He doesn't have any true policy proposals. He's very fluid in his political ideology depending on what's convenient at that moment. And so according to this poll, Buttigieg pulled in 25%, up 2 points from Thursday night, meaning last night, while Bernie Sanders held steady at 24%. Now it's one poll, and we shared a Monmouth University poll with you earlier today that showed that Buttigieg is at 19% and Bernie Sanders is at 25%. But Sanders had a huge lead over him before what happened in Iowa. It's disgusting.
It's remarkable that one of the first questions from the moderators was not, should Tom Perez, the head of the DNC, resign over what happened in Iowa? Like that the Democratic Party can't even run a simple election in a small state with under like 200,000 voters, and that they can't even just count them accurately.
So I want to give an example of what Anna just said. Here was a quote from Pete Buttigieg during the debate that we laughed out loud at here while we were watching it in the studio. But his Twitter account loved it so much they immediately put it up. Now, why do they put up nonsense questions like this? Because the establishment eats it up. This is what substitutes for wisdom. So here's the quote so you can judge for yourself. "We cannot solve the problems before us by looking back. It's time to meet this moment."
What?
Yeah.
Okay, what does that mean?
I'm gonna meet him and give him a fist bump.
Yeah,
that's how you get black voters.
Yeah, I have met this moment by not looking back, but looking forward, and I have realized that it is in the future. Like what? Say something. Yeah. But they're so proud of it. They tweeted that out like, "Got 'em. We met the moment. We met the moment."
Right.
With what? What was your policy that you met it with?
He's a manufactured candidate in this media environment that manufactures consent. He's perfect. He's perfect for them. It's disgusting because this is how the country has fallen back on every issue, right? This is how the environment has been destroyed without people paying attention or realizing what's going on. This is how the economy has slowly but surely been created in a way that's rigged against the working class. I mean, all these things have been happening because nonsense politicians like him, he's been a failure in a small town as mayor, right? But he's been propped up by the media establishment with ABC News claiming that he's the winner of tonight's debate. Disgusting. How is he the winner? What did he bring to the table? What was the substance? What did he do other than take the questions that were posed to him and then reword it by regurgitating it as an answer? Right? So he says that he acknowledges what the problems are. Okay, homeboy, what are you gonna do about it? What do you bring to the table? Nothing.
Here, let me just read you some quotes from his Twitter account from tonight that they thought were so brilliant, okay? See if you can find any policy in any of these. "This is our shot, our only shot to galvanize an American majority to win, and make no mistake, I'm the candidate who will beat Trump." To be fair, everybody says they're the candidate who could beat Trump. But like I thought, make no mistake, we were gonna get to a policy position about how we were gonna galvanize people. Nope, we're just gonna galvanize them.
Literally any candidate could have said that.
That's right.
You would not be able to tell.
In fact, like other than beating Trump, a Republican could have said that. These are all fill in the blank talking points. Yeah. So here's another one. "Not just in order to win, but in order to govern. The next president will face unprecedented challenges that will require bringing the American people together."
Yes.
Okay, yes. Well, whereas we all wanted them divided and hating each other, etc. These are all, they're pulp,
Oh, really fast, I know how this worked. He had Mark Zuckerberg, they had lunch together. They created a program that analyzed 8 years of Obama speeches, maybe a couple of Ted Cruz, and this is what it spits out. It's pretty good,
This is what real life carbon-based life forms like in their politics.
Yeah, he's created by an algorithm. His talking points are part of the algorithm. In fact, there's a slight glitch here because in another tweet, right above all the ones I read to you, it says, first of all, it just says, "It's time to turn the page."
Yeah, like that's a Bob Seger quote.
It's a good song. It's a really good song.
Talking about.
Yeah. Okay, and then but wait, so that's his quote, and underneath, and underneath it is another Buttigieg quote. So it's a double quote of Pete Buttigieg, and in that one he says, here's a glitch. He used the word galvanize again. Okay, it's time to galvanize, not polarize, the American people around bold ideas and actually get things done.
What are your ideas?
What are they?
List one.
What are the bold ideas?
He has one bold idea, and it's the stupidest thing like I've seen a politician propose in a long time, which is his Supreme Court packing proposal, which in and of itself is fine. But his idea that we're gonna have 5 Democratic judges, 5 Republican judges, and 5 nonpartisan judges is absolute nonsense. Like that does not exist. That's his one bold idea, and everyone made fun of him. And then he's like, "Oh well, I'm not gonna do it anymore."
I think that he's like, how Trump is supposedly the reality TV president. I think he's running for movie president. Like there's always a movie president, but they never say if it's a Republican or a Democrat, and you can't tell. Like they'll talk and they'll give speeches, but they're never clear because they don't want to turn off any audiences. He wants to get through this entire thing. It's like someone's blackmailing him, and if he ever identifies a policy, they kill his dog or something. Right. And so he has to tweet constantly, but never say anything. It's like Brewster's Billions, but for politics, I don't know.
In fact, it's funny that you say that because about somebody torturing him or something along those lines, because he just has a tweet that says, "This is not an episode of 24."
Yeah.
Are you serious?
That's him trying to warn us.
That's his response to the Soleimani thing.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.